So I posted on my Facebook today, which I don't really do very often, but that I was looking for forgiveness. And I'll tell you about that in a minute, but it got me thinking that today is a day that we have President Zelensky talking to our Canadian government. And I thought, wow, I can't believe that we're here. I know so many people that I talk to are really hurting, not just seeing what's happening on the other side of the world, but feeling it in their hearts. And it's a bit of a wake-up call for so many. I heard on the news today talking about the likes of Winston Churchill and some of the words he said, so started thinking about that, and the phrase that I just know is so important is what Winston Churchill did say was, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And I know from experience that where there is fear, that can ignite such a horrible fire. And I wonder how the fear began on the other side of the world. And doesn't really matter who started it, doesn't matter, but it matters that we recognize that it's there, and we all want to do something. Myself, we're giving some money, we're trying to connect with those that are fleeing the country, and trying to help in any way you can financially. But what can you actually physically do, or where can you connect in your own life? And I know that I'm a survivor of a severe trauma, and that trauma did produce a PTSD that was extremely hard to deal with. But I had a amazing mentor throughout my life who had overcome an obstacle that was a physical disability. So my father being quadriplegic or paraplegic, whatever way you want to look at it. Every single day I got to see someone who overcame. Now I've been introduced to a woman named Unstoppable Tracy, and I hope she's going to speak to her experience as she's growing up. And I'll leave that to her, but you can Google her because she's amazing. But she didn't wake up one morning, I don't think, like my father did, that all of a sudden, he went from, top athlete to arms, legs, didn't move. Must have been terrifying, right? So for myself, when I was in a state of terror, sheer terror, I needed to try to figure out, how can I get through this if I can't trust what I'm actually thinking about? Because when you're afraid, you do things irrationally. You're seeing things different. You're seeing threats where they actually may not be. You're seeing and feeling. I remember my sister, who, she's supposed to be a doctor and she's very, very good, but she did the stupidest thing. Here I am in absolute trauma, and she took me down to the Rainforest Cafe. The Rainforest Cafe is, incredibly beautiful, incredibly loud. Things jump out at you, and when you're in a state of shock, and I can imagine all of these refugees that are going to be coming, I believe our Canadian government is making the right connections, and we need to expect that many are going to be coming to our country. And the kind of state that they'd be in, I can imagine like loud sounds would trigger, having lots of people around, terrifying. And I was talking with a friend just recently who's been going through her own journey of maybe it's wake up in your spirit, in your soul, to those scary things that are around, and to coming to terms to it. But it became apparent that there was no way you could drive. The anxiety level just went up, 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 to the point that she couldn't actually hold on to that wheel and go anywhere. And I know that feeling because that happened to me also. So we have all these people coming here, and what they need is, they need a place to stay. We have a housing crisis already here in Canada, unaffordable housing, and when we're opening the doors, maybe temporary, hopefully temporary, to people coming here who need a place to stay, it still has to be peaceful. Bringing them to a place that's very, very loud, very, very busy, that's tough. So I know from talking with my husband and I, we are absolutely committed to, however, connecting to bring people to stay with us. We're in a very peaceful place, other than some loud beeping once in a while when you do get a little traffic out, but for the most part, it's very peaceful, and there's woods behind you, and you can sit beside water and listen to that, and we definitely have space in our home to bring people in. But I had a hard time thinking of, what am I actually told to do at a time like this? And you go back to your guide, and my guide is something that I never actually thought would be my guide for most of my life, but for the last 12-13 years I've started studying, and I actually understand that the Bible is actually a really, really good book. Most people think it's just whatever, because you read it and you go, well, that's kind of weird. Like, you read some of the chapters, but you have to put in perspective. It's taken me 13 years now to get to a point where I can really read it and really understand it, and actually what's inside is more than what you think. It is logical, it is smart, it is got guides. But one of the simplest guides that we can do is what we were told to do, was to prepare a place. So the very last thing that my Lord said was, I go and prepare a place for you. So we could be preparing a place. So that's in our homes. That's in any place that you feel that you can. I was looking around and saying, how many connections do we have in the communities to people in the Ukraine and the Russian people too? There's Russian people leaving, like they're just not. Imagine being under such a fear of your own government. There's nothing scarier than that, let me tell you. And I can go into that at some point. But looking around at the Ukrainian even churches around, I got St. Demetrius, St. Vladimir's, St. Mary's, St. Nicholas, Protection of the Blessed Virgin Mary, St. Elias, St. George's, St. John, St. Joseph, All Saints, Full Gospel, Archangel Michael, Resurrection, Sacred Heart, St. John the Baptist. All of these churches are within like an hour and a half of me. And these are all Ukrainian churches. So these are congregations that speak Ukrainian, and I'm sure they've got people that are connected. So how do we take all these connections? And I'm looking at churches because they're the ones that want to help. They're the ones that are told that you have to prepare a place. Now what I have is, I also have a connection to a place that was very dear to me, which was Koinonia. It's a camp up near Parry Sound. And koinonia is a word actually that means fellowship. And when you think about it, we've got people who are falling out of their boat overseas, and they're coming here, and they'll have nothing to call really their own. They may have a little bit of money in their bank, but that doesn't really matter. They've lost everything, so they've fallen out of their boat. And fellowship means essentially that's it. You're supposed to be a fellow or a friend, or I'm maybe paraphrasing this, but you're providing that connection, that security. And at Koinonia, what they do is they meet in a place of absolute peace. Very, very good.